Hi guys, my name is Elizabeth and I welcome you to Moment with Beth YouTube channel where we film about faith, balance and womanhood. If you are a new viewer and you find all these topics interesting, keep watching and click on that subscribe button to get notified of every video we upload. And if you're a returning subscriber, I'm very grateful for you returning to see my video. Thank you very much and God bless you. As you can tell by the title of this video, we'll be treating Christianity and abusive marriages. Oh, the news I had last week baffled me a lot, where a popular minister was beaten to death by her husband. That was really touching for me. I've not been married. I don't know what it entails to be married, but at least I have a basic idea of what marriage entails, of what you are to expect in marriage, of what God himself even wants for us in marriage. He's the one that created marriage. He created marriage so that we can be helpmates for each other and be able to continue his purpose here on earth. Jesus came, died for everybody so that we can be able to continue his purpose. So marriage is another means for us to be able to continue that purpose of reaching to the end of the earth, preaching gospel. So how will a marriage that is supposed to be preaching the gospel, chasing 10,000, chasing tens of thousands, tens of millions, now experiencing this? I've listened to most popular one, which is Eme, and only for me to hear this sad news. It really pained me. It really pained me, but you have to submit everything to God because He alone is the perfect judge of this matter. So going back to the topic, I think what I mentioned was just a digression. What does Christian marriages mean? What are we to expect in marriages? What does God has in plan for us in marriage? Join me as we go on in this video. When we talk of Christian marriage, it's a gift by God. So what do we understand by being a Christian and having a Christian marriage? Personally, I don't like using the word Christian because I believe it's a word that has been messed up in quotes in this generation. That is why I always love to use I'm a believer, being a believer. So if I say you are a believer, or if you say that you are a believer, it means that you know the the weight of what you are actually believing in. That is what I always call people because it is being a believer. That word is weighty. So if you call yourself a believer, you actually know what to do as a believer. You know what not to do as a believer. So if we now decide to get married, which is good because it's a gift from God. Why do we? Because I always think, like, there was a day I was just pondering that all those wife beaters, how do they, like, how will they come out of the house and still be smiling with their wife in public? Like, I don't know how, and I will never know how, because hey, it's very disheartening for a man to raise up his hand to beat a woman and vice versa, because it's not one-sided. So when we talk of Christian marriages, it has, or let me say believers marriages rather, it has many expectations God is expecting from such marriages. And one of it is what I mentioned, which is to continue from where Jesus stopped and to chase tens of thousands, tens of millions. So if we now keep beating ourselves, how are we going to chase those lost souls? It's not possible. We cannot chase them that way. It's not possible. So that's one of the things God is expecting from such marriage, a Christian, a believer's marriage. Another thing God is expecting from a believer's marriage is procreation. Yes, giving birth to children, because you are giving birth to nations, and nations we also chase their own nations. Yes, I believe personally I call myself a nation. So I value people that come into my life because I know that it's a nation that is also coming into my life. And I value people that I'm actually extending the hand of help to, because at least in my own little way, I know that I'm feeding nation. Because if that person get married and begin to procreate, the family begins to extend and extend and extend and extend. Was it not 12 tribes, 12 persons that formed the nation of Israel today? Of course, they were 12. So I value myself and I call myself a nation. And I know that I'm also extending my hand of help, and I'm going to get married to a nation, and I'm going to procreate to give birth to nations. So me giving birth to nations is me extending the ability to be able to reach out to lost souls and continue from where Jesus has stopped. So beating ourselves is not the right way. That is another thing God is expecting from us, from a believer's marriage, that we are able to feed nations, that we are able to procreate and give birth to nations, which in turn continue the generation, continue the cycle. I want you to tell yourself in the comment section that you are a nation. Yes, you are a nation. You are a nation. When I was talking about that procreation, the Bible said we are to multiply and fill the earth. So how can we fill the earth if we are not giving birth? If we are not giving birth to nations, it is the nations we are giving birth to that we continue to expand, to give, extend, to give birth to fill the earth. So what's what are the things that can actually lead to abusive marriage? Hmm. Abusive marriage is not only physical abuse. It can be financial abuse, it can be emotional abuse, and several. Even when I was making my research, I even saw technology abuse. So it is not about the physical alone, but I think it's the physical that is more pronounced. That is the reason many people think abusive marriages is only by beating. No, it varies: physical abuse, emotional abuse, and several others. What can lead to an abusive marriage? This is not the video for that. I would like to drop some points for women, because believe it is husbands beating their wife that is more rampant nowadays. One thing I will want us to note is that as a female, know that your life is not tied around your husband. Your life is not tied around your husband. Your life is not tied around your husband. I'm saying that 3 times because you must have a life of your own. I was speaking with a friend, and the friend was telling me that her a guy rather a guy was telling her that a woman, a female, must not have a purpose, that her purpose must be that of her husband's purpose. And I laughed. The funny thing is that he gave a biblical reference. He said the reason the reason Mary was called to give birth to Jesus was because of Joseph. And I laughed. It was funny to me. How will you be giving such biblical reference? As a female, there was a clip I had some weeks back by Tolulope Solutions. She said, as a female, if you can buy a car while you are still single, buy it. If you can buy a house and have many landed properties, my dear, please do. I want you to drop in the comment section if you are a girl, if you are a female with that kind of mentality, that you are going to own everything you can own, even while still single and still waiting for the right person to meet you. Drop your comment. Say, I am part of the WhatsApp group. Yes, so because this life, let me use Mama Funke Adejumo's statements, that those of you that are still thinking that it is until I get married that I can buy a car, it is until I get married that I can own a landed property. We've left that generation, we've left it. We've left it behind. You are the only person in that class. Yes, you are the only person in that class. We've left. Stay. So we are not waiting for anybody. Yes, I'm not disclaiming that having a husband is good. Yes, it's the sweetest. I said one of the one of the things God is expecting in our marriage is to be able to chase our 10,000, to be able to continue in what Jesus has started. So with that, that having a husband is important. If you have all those things, you are empowered financially. I'm not saying anything of such will happen to you, but if such things happen, you'll be able to move out, at least to separate for a while and continue to pray for your marriage at a far distance. Because one of the major reasons that is keeping women down in that kind, such kind of marriage is because of finances. How will I take care of my children? How will I take care of myself? How will I eat in this generation, in this Nigerian situation? So if you are empowered financially, you'll be able to move out. And another thing I would like to put out there is that those that died because of children, they don't live to eat the fruit of their labor. I want to say that again. Those that died because of their children don't live to eat the fruit of their labor. Because I've heard stories of, it's because of my children I'm staying. It's because of my children I'm staying. It's because of my children I'm staying. If you stay because of your children and your husband beat you to death, that child will get over you and will live to his or her life's fulfillment. It is your glory that was cut short. It is the lady's glory that has been cut short. It is the wife's glory that has been cut short. It is not, this is not even pertaining to marriage alone. Even if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, my dear sisters, please move. Move. Thanks for watching and God bless you. See you in the next video.